Hi, everyone, and welcome to our webinar titled Unlocking the Power of Microsoft Power Pages with Dynamics GP. We are thrilled that you have joined us today for this webinar and want you to feel free to reach out with any questions you have by using the Q&A or chat features. After the webinar, we will be sure to send out an email to all participants with the slides attached, but please allow about 48 hours for that email to arrive. Leading our webinar today is Jason Barnes, who is our CRM and Power Platform Practice Manager. And Jason has been with LBMC Technology Solutions for more than 10 years and joined LBMC with a Bachelor of Science in Industrial Technology from Tennessee Tech University and holds a certification as a Microsoft Cloud Solution Expert. Before starting his consulting career, Jason held significant positions such as partner and CRM practice manager at Oasis Solutions. Jason's extensive experience in CRM and Power Platform software solutions allows him to understand how technologies impact companies as a whole. He works with all departments influenced by technology and provides consulting services and training on how to best leverage technology to achieve the business objectives. He is also an active member of the Dynamics Users Group community. Please join me in welcoming Jason as our presenter.
Hey, thank you, Margaret. Just to say, we appreciate everybody spending some time with us today. I've been really looking forward to talking with all of you about a really helpful solution, I believe. And my team and I we've been seeing just more and more clients reaching out to us about web portals. And they can be for a lot of things, but mostly for financial and customer service needs. So we thought it might be time to share what we've been doing with a greater audience. And this technology has really advanced over the last few years. So really to the point where any business can benefit from it, and more importantly, afford it. And in a situation where you can deploy and use your own financial or customer service based web portals. We're going to dive into it. First, I would like to, for those that, I guess most of you have worked with LBMC for a while, but for those of you who are not familiar with what all we do, we can help businesses with just about any technology needs you have, right? Whether it's network engineering, technical help desk needs, or deploying ERP and CRM software, obviously. But we have teams of consultants and solution architects that can help you to develop custom software solutions. And by the way, all of our developers and consultants are 100% in-house, stateside. But if you take this ability and combine it with everything that our LBMC family of companies can do, it really makes LBMC that one-stop shop, which we're really proud of. And so there's really not much we can't help a client with. We have an ongoing joke that we basically can do anything except clean your offices. Rest assured, LBMC can take care of you. And I do think that at LBMC, we feel like we've got something really special and unique here, especially in our industry. We really believe our professionals, consultants, and engineers that we employ are second to none, right? But really and truly, all of those awards and accolades that our team receives really wouldn't be possible without some amazing customers. So we thank all of you for that support. And of course, we always appreciate the opportunity to share in your successes as well. So now let's talk about what we're here to learn about, right? So our learning objectives for the day. Obviously, we'd like to talk a little bit about what is the real business impact to using financial web portals. So we'll dive through that a bit. I've got a few slides to help explain that. Obviously, I want to help everyone understand what Power Pages is. That's the solution that's sort of at the root of today's conversation is, hey, these web portals sound great, but how do I get there? What tool do I use? So we're going to talk about Power Pages, obviously, and then go through what some of those benefits are, some of the differentiators between using Power Pages for web portals versus some of the other options that are out there that maybe might be more just custom and some others that you may be familiar with. And then, of course, I want to explain how Power Pages and GP, how they're going to work together to help us provision these portals. And then I think one of the most helpful slides we'll have today will be to really dive into some of the common use cases that we've experienced. We've had some clients come back to us and ask for, so some of the projects that we've worked on, give you a great understanding of where we're coming from with these web portals. So let's talk about the business case. So today's clients and even vendors, they expect this sort of on-demand access, right, to whether it's financial information or access to documentation, but really it needs to be 24/7 accessible, right? These sort of self-service portals that we're all used to now, they really do help that meet that expectation, right? But manual processes like emailing PDFs or chasing down approvals, handling inquiries, a lot of times these create delays and they really increase the risk of human error and perhaps data exposure that we obviously want to avoid. I think one other point is that portals centralize communication, so we can use it as a communication layer or a communication tool. They increase transparency. In my opinion, probably one of the better benefits is they improve auditability. If you're in a situation where we really got to maintain a certain level of audit of the activities and interactions, this portal certainly helps you do that. It helps reduce redundancy and dependency on those sort of scattered email threads that we're all used to. And of course, spreadsheets, right? We want to get rid of that sort of spreadsheet driven process that we sometimes we engage with clients. We don't want to do that. And internally, accounting teams, they save time. They reduce that administrative burden and allows them to shift their focus to those higher value activities like more like advisory, analysis, reporting, that they just don't have time to today. All right. So let's talk a little about Power Pages. So Power Pages, for those of you who are familiar, I think we've had a couple of sessions and events where we've explained this, but Power Pages is a low-code web development platform. And it's built for securely sharing data and supporting workflows with external users like clients, vendors, or even partners, right? In some cases, employees and maybe other offices or other sister companies in this sort of thing. It's part of the core Microsoft Power Platform, right? So Microsoft Power Platform is a collection of tools and services, and Power Platform fits within that platform. So it natively works with some of the other tools like Power Automate, Power BI, and of course it sits in Dataverse. And all of that, these tools can be used and really do, create like this situation that can be crucial for financial processes such as automation. That's a great benefit, of course. Portals built in Power Pages are also secure. They're scalable, which is also important. You want to kind of maybe sometimes start small and work your way up. And they can handle anything from things like tax documents, doing a portal like for tax documents, or maybe for like vendor onboarding. There are all sorts of workflows that we can use it for, which we'll discuss more later. And then, of course, the underlying Dataverse environment at the back end ensures that you have a certain level of data integrity and compliance, but it also gives you a high level of customization, which means that you can really tailor it to fit any industry specific use cases or needs. Let's move forward here. Let's talk a bit about the benefits of specifically using Power Pages for these web portals. So first of all, and I think is one of the more important parts to note, is that they're quick to deploy and they're really flexible, right? So with Power Pages, we can rapidly deploy a portal using these really simple low-code drag and drop type components. So think of it as like a form builder with these sort of data grids and reusable layouts that we have access to. Start as templates. It's optimized for both desktop and mobile. It makes it easier to deliver that really great experience to clients without really having that need for true custom development, although it is pro code friendly, just to mention. So, if the template and those out of the box tools don't meet the objective we have for the portal, then we know that we have the ability to go in and use some more advanced sort of pro code methods to really fine tune it the way you need it. So most organizations already have sort of these branding standards. They have their look, they have their brand that they want to promote. They may obviously have an existing website. So Power Pages does support this custom themes and layout adjustments that we can make, so we can truly brand it, use your logo, your color palette, and even the layout or format of your current website, if that's what you choose, so that it all kind of lines up nicely, right? And this agility really allows accounting and finance teams to test ideas quickly, right? So we can pilot some ideas and solutions. And as I said earlier, one of the big benefits is scaling without having to commit to a really long dev cycle. So it's like you can constantly tweak the experience in that portal for the clients or vendors or partners, whoever it may be, without having to call a developer and spending maybe tens of thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours just to try to test some things out. This platform allows that flexibility so you can test these things without going through all that. All right. So obviously, when it comes to portals, connectivity is vital, right? And portals don't just present information, they can connect to your accounting system, like Dynamics 365, Business Central, or Dynamics GP, obviously. So that gives us an ability to really service a lot of that critical financial information that we really want to be able to convey to our customers, again, or vendors or partners, or collect information. And that will be able to flow into our accounting system. So to and from our accounting system, I should say. We can do things like use Power Automate. We could build workflows that, again, tie into that financial process or processes. Think approvals, notifications, or I think one that we did not long ago is we handled some document routing that was part of an onboarding process. So we have a new client and we have a lot of paperwork to go through. We don't have to do that through email anymore. We can do that through a portal in using this experience. And again, Power Automate can sort of power that process. For visibility too, to things like reporting, Power BI, most of you are familiar or at least heard of Power BI. We can take Power BI reports and dashboards and we can embed those right in the portal. So maybe you don't want client to necessarily gain access to a lot of detail accounting data, but you want them to have some ability to look at reporting, right? Maybe it's a partner situation or sister company or parent company, and they need access to some of that reporting or analysis. So you can actually take that Power BI content and we can just display it right there in Power Pages in the portal. And that just gives them ability so they can just switch systems all the time or have to request reports or whatnot from the accounting team. They can get access to that in the portal. And of course, we can't forget AI, right? So this is a technology-based webinar. So naturally, we've got to talk about AI these days, right? So Dataverse connectivity also supports the ability to add custom elements to our portal using what's called Copilot Studio. So we're not really talking about Copilot Studio today, but just know that's really the tool that Microsoft offers now that allows us to take and create these custom AI components. Think of it as being used to provide more interactive, quick answers, that sort of type of experience for customers. So they don't have to email you or call in to ask questions to some more common questions that you find, or it allows them to ask questions about their account specifically. So the portal could support like those chatbots that we're familiar with, or a custom Copilot that kind of like this works alongside the portal to answer questions that the clients or again the users may have. And then we can use AI agents. That's a more advanced level of AI that allows you to automate a process. So it can take documents and forms. It makes the processing of those things easier for both the customer and of course you as an organization. AI is a big aspect of this, and we've had some recent projects where that was a real focus. Is hey, we don't want just a portal that has a lot of just information in it. We want the client to have sort of an interactive experience and be able to just get answers and feel like they're doing more than just looking at static information or uploading a document. So that's something that we can certainly do with AI. All right. And so security, naturally, we're all accounting professionals likely here and financial folks. Security is non-negotiable when we're dealing with financial data. Power Pages does use role-based access to ensure that each user sees only what they should, right? It does support, as far as like logging in and authentication, it supports multiple identity providers. We can use Microsoft Entra, which is kind of like the part of Azure Active Directory. We can use their Microsoft accounts. We can use external providers like Google or LinkedIn, and provides just that easy access or ability for clients to log in without necessarily having to remember a separate username and password. Although we do support that you could provide them with a username and password, maybe their email address, and then whatever password you designate there. For compliance, though, Power Pages does have built-in audit logging and encryption. So that provides like that granular permissions support, and it will help you meet requirements for SOX and certainly GDPR, European standards, or any internal audit controls that you or the organization may require. And of course, that naturally gives everyone peace of mind that while they're still opening up access to that financial data and those financial systems, it's obviously open up the access to those external users who need that information. So we want to make sure, obviously, that there's a certain high level of security and, of course, compliance that the portal can support. Then moving forward, and I think probably the most common question that I get is in regards to, hey, this sounds great, Jason, how much does it cost? Unlike traditional custom portals, Power Pages requires minimal infrastructure. So there's not near the amount of support needed to stand this portal up and start using it. So it says we don't need to leverage servers or manage hosting providers. It's fully cloud-based. Microsoft does all the work. You just deploy it, launch it, and it is maintained in that environment, in the Microsoft environment, Dataverse. So that's certainly makes it easy. And the licensing is modular, so you can start small with maybe a focused use case like invoice lookup and expand beyond that. But it's relatively inexpensive. Most of you that maybe have some Dynamics 365 licensing may even already have access to Power Pages and could start a portal at any point, right? So for example, if you have Dynamics 365 CRM, the enterprise version or subscription of Dynamics 365 CRM, or the sales app as they call it, that actually comes with the Power Pages license or subscription. And then from there, it's just a matter of how much content we're building out in the portal. It comes with templates as well. So it's really easy to just start small and work your way up from there. And it does auto scale based on traffic and data volume. That's perfect for organizations that sort of experience those seasonal demands that we run into, for example, like tax season, or maybe like a fiscal year end, or again, any other kind of seasonal spike you might run into. So it does scale. So in other words, you don't have to worry about a flurry of clients visiting the portal that they experience slowness or having it bogged down on them or anything like that. The solution does scale up automatically. But overall, the Power Pages offers a really fast ROI, much faster than building and maintaining a custom portal from scratch. So I think that's certainly a advantageous advantage to Power Pages. So let's talk about some of those deployment options. Speaking of that, so historically, as I was saying earlier, the greatest barrier to deploying a customer web portal or financial web portal was cost. It was expensive. The development was expensive and time consuming. The platforms were really limited. There wasn't too many options out there other than just building it from scratch, which again is expensive. And then they got expensive to host and maintain. In some cases, security issues were common. And really, integrations to business systems like your ERP were always cumbersome and just really be overly complex. So Power Pages, it does a great job at simplifying all of that, right? So compared to custom development, Power Pages offers really a significantly faster time to value, right? So you're going to be able to stand this thing up much quicker and start benefiting from it much sooner. There's no need to hire developers, right? So you don't have to hire a developer every time you just want to tweak or modify the portal. It's low code, no code, so you don't need that. Compared to WordPress, Power Pages is designed for a secure sort of enterprise use. So it's not necessarily, it's far beyond or far greater than just simple consumer-based portals like you might have experienced yourself. This thing is built for business, right? So enterprise grade, and it will integrate really easily with your Microsoft ecosystem. So that's solutions that we all know and love, right? Dynamics 365, like sales or service app, Dynamics GP, of course, Power Platform, Business Central. And then, of course, everything resides within Dataverse. That's really the strength of the whole thing, is they all share that common backend. So you get built-in, as I said before, you get that built-in compliance support with that lower maintenance and that higher level of security. And of course, that's all critical in financial systems and environments. And there's also, as I said before, there's essentially no maintenance. There's no hosting costs. It is 100% hosted with Power Platform in Dataverse. So the way I think of it is Power Pages, it really hits that sweet spot between cost, agility, obviously security. Certainly all advantages point to Power Pages there. All right. So let's talk about how Power Pages and GP work together. Obviously, this is an important part to understand. And it's actually really simple. As we all know, GP is likely deployed locally on one of your servers, or maybe it could be hosted somewhere. All we would do in order for GP to communicate with Power Pages is we would install what's called the Data Gateway. The Data Gateway is just a little service that would basically read and write to your GP database, and it would pick up any changes or anything that needs to be synced over to essentially a Dataverse instance. And that's where Power Pages lives, as I've been saying before. So once we have it into Dataverse, we can leverage that in our Power Page portal or anywhere else in Power Platform that might be needed. All right. So I think probably the most helpful content today is going to be talking about some of these use cases. So let's help paint a picture for everyone so we get an idea of what's those the sort of common use cases where we feel like there's some benefit, of course. We cover those benefits. We're going to look at some really what I call realistic scenarios where Power Pages can in my opinion, directly improve financial operations. So these are all based on common pain points, as I was saying before, that we've seen working with a lot of our accounting and finance departments and teams of users over the last couple of years. So first, let's talk about a client financial portal, right? It sounds pretty common. So think of this as your client self-service hub, right? Clients can log in, they can access tax forms perhaps, or other documents, invoices, of course. As I was saying earlier, it's not uncommon to maybe give access to some financial reporting. And of course, instead of all that back and forth email, as I was mentioning earlier, it's a great communication platform. So a lot of the communication can happen within the portal, and that also improves that traceability, that sort of real-time access to information, and certainly, as I was saying before, helps you manage compliance. We were talking about documentation, so obviously it would support document uploads, and of course we can use sort of these interactive workflows, for example, like budget sign-offs, maybe document approvals, maybe review some type of request for information or documentation. Or obviously, beyond just the common customer self-service or customer service portal, these could be requests for help beyond just the financial needs, right? This could be a situation where your customer service operation or even your sales team could leverage the portal as well so that clients can interact with those teams also. Probably the most recent use case that we've had is the example of a customer order and billing portal. This was a great project that we worked on. Our main goal was to really empower customers with that 24/7 self-service access to their order and billing information, right? They want to be able to view order history and track deliveries, right? Customers being able to log in and securely and be able to see their full order history. That was a critical requirement for the project. They're also able to track the delivery status of the current orders in more real time. I'm not going to say it's like completely real time. Obviously, there's a sync interval there involved, but it's basically near real time. And then, of course, that helps improve transparency and reduces the number of support inquiries. When people are just asking, hey, where's my order? Or where's the tracking information for my order or what have you? They can gain access to all of that within the portal. Invoice and payment management was another aspect of that was important. And the portal enabled users to be able to view their open balances. They could download past invoices. And probably one of the biggest requirements in that project was the ability to submit payments online. So we did an integration with the payment processor, and that enabled them to be able to submit those payments. All of that is meant to help streamline those internal processes and obviously reduce delays in payment, which that's always good to help cash flow. And then, of course, integration with their accounting system was critical. We integrated with their accounting system, and again, that allowed for more real-time access to the order, the shipment and billing data that I had mentioned earlier, and that just keeps the client informed, right, and up to date. That's a happy customer most of the time, right? You keep them informed, you keep them up to date. Most customers are going to be happy with that, right? That's certainly a big customer service experience item. And then, of course, support, like we talked about, for any issues with orders or exceptions. Customers would have maybe access to like a customer service inquiry form or request form. Maybe we could give them live chat where they can start just a chat with either a customer service person or maybe someone in accounting with a question regarding their accounts. Those are all, in my opinion, great advantages that that client that we did this for is able to offer their customers. This self-service capability, it not only enhances customer experience, but it really helps reduce that manual support workload. And in the end, like I said before, speeds up that sort of order to cash cycle that's so vital and that obviously every accounting team is looking to better manage. All right, another great example was a vendor portal. Oh, actually, before I do that, I forgot I had this slide in here. This is an example of an order portal. This is before it was prettied up, right? So this was literally just like taking the template and starting fairly soon. This is just after we had added some of the actions that a customer that was visiting this order portal would be able to do. You can see create order, view their active orders, confirmed orders, and so forth. So we actually adjusted some of the titles of some of those, but that gives you an idea of kind of just out of the box what it looks like. That's where the template that we use in that case, kind of where it started from. All right. As I said, another project that turned out long ago was related to vendor management, right? We needed an ability to allow vendors to onboard themselves. We wanted them to be able to upload W-9s, maybe enter some payment details. They could also check the status of their submitted invoices. That was obviously a key benefit there, is being able to take a look at status of those invoices. You can also embed documents, what we call validation rules, maybe set approval stages, and it gives you an ability to flag exceptions to those for review as well. It really helps automate those interactions with the vendors. And then, of course, all the vendor documents and all that correspondence, it gets centralized into one sort of secure place. And again, that gets back to helping support and really simplify the audit functions and just general record keeping. So I think that's certainly a big benefit. And then, of course, as I said before, and I've said it multiple times, is that really this helps reduce the number of, I would call, like inbound inquiries and requests that a lot of finance and accounting teams receive to really help vendors. And of course, it all is about staying compliant with those requirements or with your requirements. Another use case, I don't have a slide for it, but I felt like it was something important to mention, would be this concept of a financial reporting portal for executives or maybe a board of directors. In many situations, there's executives or, again, a board that may not have direct access to the accounting or financial system, but they're absolutely entitled, and it's really vital for them to have access to the financial data reporting and analysis. Obviously, we all know executives don't want to wait on IT or finance teams for these reports. So a portal would give them that sort of real-time access, right? They could get in there, log into that portal anytime they wanted, refresh maybe a report, and be able to view that. Power BI does a great job at that. It has visuals that would show revenue or expenses, cash flow, maybe budget to actuals, right? And that could all be maybe even filtered down to a particular line of business or department and so forth, just like you're probably used to. But this would allow them that ability within a portal experience without having to call accounting and ask for this reporting. It could all be ready, just access the reporting anytime they need it. And of course, we still have the same role-based security that we've been talking about. And of course, in my opinion, it really helps eliminate a lot of those bottlenecks that we run into for a lot of this accounting and financial data requests that I know every team receives. In the end, though, it's just about keeping these executives or the board informed, allows them to make faster decisions backed by that data that you're able to provide for them more readily in the portal. All right. In summary, just like to wrap it up and talk about next steps. So Power Pages can be used to help our accounting teams, our finance teams, streamline a lot of these interactions that you're already having with, again, with clients and partners, vendors. It's perfect for that, to help streamline those interactions. It's going to do so securely, and it's just going to reduce a lot of that manual work that you're likely doing now as a team. And what's nice is it does scale, so you can start small and work up from there. Allows your business to really leverage this tool, both short term, long term. And it can accommodate, as we talked about just moments ago, it can accommodate many different use cases. So you could maybe start with one use case and use the portal one way, and then expand the use over time. But again, if you're thinking of using a web portal, or this might be something that you'd like to look further into, what I would recommend is just identify maybe 2 to 3 sort of high impact workflows that you might start with, right? We're talking about invoice visibility or vendor onboarding, customer onboarding, that kind of thing. Really think through those and think where you might be able to leverage a portal experience to do that. But if any of that, if it sounds like a fit or sounds like something that you'd like to really dive into a little further, I'd love to schedule a call. My team and I would love to talk to you about it. We can show you a demo if you want to see one, or even maybe put together like a proof of concept for you so you can really see how these portals can be leveraged to your specific use case. Something really exciting, right? Hope everybody enjoyed the content. We're going to provide these slides. I was sure to add lots of detail to the slides, so I gave you plenty of context if you want to look back through those later. So appreciate everybody's time. Thank you. And I want to go back to Margaret, I think, to take us off.
No, you're going to come back to me. I just wanted to let everyone know, last chance to ask Jason questions while I'm going through what's coming up in GP office hours. So please use the chat or the Q&A function if you do have a question. Many of you had indicated that you're here to learn. And you've got the expert right here. So if you do have a question, please let us know. Coming up in July, Sandy Whitman is going to be doing GP inventory. You can be in control. I've put the registration link in the chat. It will also be embedded in the slides that I send out after the event. So if you have the GP inventory module, you won't want to miss that. In August, Jason is going to be back. And this time he's going to be talking about Microsoft Copilot Studio and the future of accounting systems. So that's one that you won't want to miss. And again, in the chat and in the slides, we'll have the registration link for that. And then in September, Natalie Avery will be presenting on GP Power Tools and how to improve the efficiency of GP administrative tasks. A note that I'd like to bring up because I'm really proud of this. Everybody that I just mentioned will be speaking at Dynamics Community Summit. And I'm very proud of the fact that our team of experts is being tapped to speak to a large national, international, in some cases, audience coming up in October. And as usual, we will be having our LBMC customer dinner at Community Summit in October 19th. We have rented the Moor, which is a sailboat themed restaurant right there at the Gaylord. So if you're going to be attending Community Summit, please RSVP. I've got that link in the chat as well. But if you're in the Orlando area, even if you're not attending Dynamic Summit, but you do find yourself in Orlando on the 19th, you are more than welcome to join us for dinner at the Gaylord. We do have, if you've not registered for Community Summit yet, in big bold red letters there is a discount code that will give you 10% off registrations. That can't be used in conjunction with any other discount. So if you're doing a group discount, unfortunately, you can't put that on top of it. But in any case, whether you're using the group discount or the LBMC Tech NO 10 discount code, please identify LBMC Technology Solutions as your partner. We would greatly appreciate that. They keep a registration list, and with you identifying us as your partner, we'll be able to see who's coming in and do some outreach to you. And then, as mentioned, we will be having dinner at the Moor. So we hope you'll join us there. I think that's the end. No questions have come in for Jason. Jason, thank you so much for your presentation today. I especially liked the use cases. It shows in action what these wonderful Microsoft tools are able to do for us. Margaret, thank you for joining us today. And to our audience, we put these together especially for you. And I hope that you will be able to join us at future GP office hours. Thanks, everyone.